Never imagined that a quiet Tuesday afternoon would be the day my entire world cracked open. My name is Sarah, and for 7 beautiful years I was married to David, the man I thought was my forever. We met in college, fell in love under the old oak tree on campus, and built the kind of life people write stories about. A cozy house with a white porch, Sunday morning coffee together, and late-night talks about the children we dreamed of having one day. He called me his safe place. I believed him with every beat of my heart. That morning my car was in the shop for brakes, so I grabbed his keys without thinking twice. David had already left for work, kissing my forehead like he always did and whispering, "Drive safe, love." The car still smelled like his cologne, that warm, woodsy scent I loved. I smiled as I slid into the driver's seat, feeling lucky. Halfway to the grocery store I realized my phone charger was missing. I pulled over, popped open the glove compartment, and started digging through the usual mess: insurance papers, old napkins, a pair of sunglasses. My fingers brushed something small and square, wrapped in plain brown paper, tucked way in the back behind the owner's manual. It felt intentional. Hidden. Curious, I pulled it out. My heart did a little happy flip. Maybe it's an early anniversary gift, I whispered to myself. David had been acting a little distant lately, working late, but I told myself it was just the new project at his company. I carefully unwrapped the paper. Inside was a small velvet jewelry box. My fingers trembled with excitement as I opened it. A delicate silver necklace sparkled up at me, a tiny heart pendant with our initials engraved on the back. But then I saw the note tucked underneath. My blood turned to ice. The handwriting was David's. I would know it anywhere. To my beautiful Lisa, the woman who makes every day feel like home. Can't wait for our new life together. All my love, David. Lisa. Not Sarah. The necklace wasn't for me. I sat there in the car, the engine still running, staring at the words until they blurred. My hands started shaking so hard I dropped the box. The pendant clinked against the floor mat like a tiny bell tolling the end of everything I thought was real. How long had he been hiding this? How many times had he looked me in the eyes and lied? I wanted to scream. I wanted to call him right then and hear him explain it away. But something inside me, some quiet, broken voice, told me to wait. To breathe. To think. Because this was only the beginning. I drove home in a fog, the necklace and note burning a hole in my purse. When David walked through the door that evening, he was the same man who had kissed me goodbye, smiling, asking about my day, reaching for my hand like nothing had changed. I smiled back. I had to. My voice stayed steady while inside I was screaming. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay beside him listening to his breathing, replaying every late night at the office, every weekend golf trip, every time he'd said I love you while his mind was somewhere else. The next morning I did what any shattered wife would do, I started looking for answers. I waited until he left, then went back to the car. Under the driver's seat I found his second phone. The one I never knew existed. The passcode was our anniversary date. Of course it was. Hundreds of messages. Photos. Plans. Lisa was his colleague from the new project. They had been seeing each other for almost 2 years. She was pregnant, 3 months along. He had already put a deposit on an apartment for them. He had told her he was almost free. I sat on the cold garage floor and cried until my chest hurt. 7 years of my life felt like a lie. Every vacation photo, every I miss you text, every promise, all of it poisoned. I felt so small. So stupid. So completely broken. For days I walked around the house like a ghost. I cooked dinner. I laughed at his jokes. I let him hold me at night while my heart turned to stone. The pain was so deep I thought it would swallow me whole. But somewhere between the tears and the rage, something shifted. I stopped crying. I started planning. I quietly copied every message, every bank transfer he'd made to her, every photo. I spoke to a lawyer in secret. I opened my own account and moved half of our savings, the money I had earned too, the money we were supposed to use for our future. I printed everything and put it in a plain folder, hidden where he would never look. David never suspected a thing. He kept coming home, kissing my forehead, calling me love. And every time he did, the woman who once adored him died a little more, and the woman who would make him pay was born. I was no longer the trusting wife. I was the storm he never saw coming. Our 8th anniversary was 3 weeks later. David had booked our favorite rooftop restaurant, the one with the string lights and the city view. He told me he wanted to make it special. "We've been through so much lately," he said, squeezing my hand. "I want to start fresh." I smiled sweetly and said, "Me too." But I had other plans. I invited his parents, his sister, his closest friends from work, and yes, I made sure Lisa's best friend, who I had quietly become friendly with online, knew the time and place. I told everyone it was a surprise anniversary party. The night arrived. The rooftop was glowing with candles. David looked handsome in his blue suit, smiling at me across the table like a man who still believed he had everything. After dessert, I stood up. My hands were steady. My voice was calm. "I have a special gift for my husband," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. I reached into my purse and pulled out the velvet box. The same one I had found in his car. I opened it slowly, letting the necklace catch the light. Then I read the note out loud. Every single word. The table went silent. I placed the printed messages, the bank statements, and the ultrasound photo on the table, one by one, like laying down cards in a game he had already lost. David's face went white. He tried to speak, but no words came. His mother covered her mouth. His best friend looked away in disgust. I looked straight at him, my voice soft but clear. "You hid this in your car like I would never find it." But I did. And tonight, everyone else gets to see exactly who you really are. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply picked up my purse, looked at the shocked faces around the table, and said, "I deserve better. And I'm finally going to get it." Then I walked away. The divorce was final 4 months later. I kept the house. I kept my dignity. David lost his reputation at work, his family's respect, and the future he thought he had with Lisa. She left him the moment the truth came out. Today I wake up in the same house, but it feels different. The air is lighter. I drink my coffee on the porch alone, but I'm not lonely. I'm free. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Sometimes the deepest betrayal breaks you into a million pieces. But if you're brave enough to pick them up and put yourself back together, you become someone even more beautiful, someone unbreakable. The greatest revenge isn't screaming or fighting. It's walking away with your head high, your heart healing, and your life finally becoming your own. And that is a story worth telling.